Hello, I'm here to talk about supply functions right now. Now, on the screen, you can see a simple supply function question. The cheapest supplier will sell you 35 bagels for 15 cents each, but the next cheapest supplier has 65 bagels for $11 total. What's the supply function? Now, what's going on here? A supply function is very different from a demand function in that a supply function is about you don't ever just buy from one supplier. You buy from the cheapest supplier until he runs out, and if you need more, you go to the next cheapest supplier and the next cheapest supplier along with that. This means that the more you need to buy, the more expensive it becomes. So a supply function has a positive slope. We're going to see that. Now, so what we got to do is figure out how much it costs to buy out the cheapest supplier, and then how much it costs out to buy out the two cheapest suppliers, and that's going to give us our 2 points. We never consider how much it just costs to buy from an expensive supplier, because that would be foolish. We're trying to save money. So we got to create a table a little different from a demand function. We have the price like the demand function, the quantity like the demand function, but we also have the total we're spending from each supplier. So the first supplier gives us a 0.15, 15 cents, and a quantity of 35. By the way, I made these numbers up. Bagels are probably more expensive than that. And that gives me 35 times 15 cents each for a total of $5.25 for all 35 bagels. Now, the next supplier, we don't know what the price is, but we know the quantity, 65 bagels, and we know what the total that they're going to charge us, $11. So, this is very important. You have to watch these questions very carefully. If it says each, like over here, each, come on, let's see, like, sometimes the stylus doesn't work, then that gets multiplied to make the total. But if it says total, then it goes straight into the total area over here, 11. So what we do is what we're trying to figure out is the price from buying from both suppliers. So what I'm going to do is add 35 plus 65, and that's going to give me a price of 100 bagels total if we buy out both suppliers. Then I take the sum of the two totals. That is $5.25 plus 11, and that's going to give me a total of $16.25. And so what we're going to do is so that tells me the price for buying the 100 bagels. So each bagel is going to cost 16.25 divided by 100, which is 0.1625. So now I know this column gives me a price quantity. We still do use price quantity like the demand function, and that's going to be 35 for 15 cents each. And then we have a new price quantity for buying from both, which is going to be 16.25 for 100. So that gives me what I need to do to figure out. So now we use the same linear math we've been using all along. Slope equals change in quantity, 100 minus 35, divided by change in price, the independent variable, 0.1625. It's not a good idea to round at these things. Minus 0.15. And that's going to give me a slope of 5,200. When you have very cheap items, you'll tend to see very large slopes. But it's also a positive slope. And that's always true with supply functions. So now I have to figure out the intercept. And the intercept math goes like this. Okay, I'll use the first price quantity. So I'll say 35 equals 5,200 times the first price, 0.15 plus intercept. So I'll subtract from both sides 5,200 times 0.15. Forgive me for not knowing that off the top of my head. I don't need to know that. All I need to do is do 35 minus 5,200 times 0.15, which equals negative 745 is the intercept. And now I know my supply function, S of P, is 5,200p minus 745. The intercept is not always negative, but it often is. It's not a check, really. Now we'll use the other point and make sure that we get the right numbers. So if I take 5,200, if I did this right, times 0.1625 minus 745, I'll get 100. So it checks. And so there is how you do a supply function.